spend your own time and you're going to spend money, programmers' time or whatever, you're investing in the business. Is there going to be core IP left? Is there a software system that gets bigger and bigger over time and becomes its own barrier to entry? Or do you have a lot of users on your site locked into some experience because of a network effect? What is it? Do you have special relationships? Do you have special deals that give you access to information that other people don't have? Like, say, with the recording industry, special deals with music labels and rights labels. Sometimes there's plays that just seem very shallow and thin. There's no lock-in, and then when somebody comes to sort of take your lunch, there's nothing to stop them. And then the other thing that I haven't mentioned it so far, but a lot of times there's a sort of a sanitized story of success around a lot of the sort of pop things we read, and these big success, and often there's some sort of dark, evil, grubby story about how the thing actually got going, right? Like MySpace getting started with 50 million spam emails, and there's a lot of the sort of big names out there that all have. I think there's some of these dark stories in the social network about Facebook, right? Some of these entrepreneurs were actually fairly edgy and leveraged something, kind of gray area to push their startup forward and kind of put it ahead of the pack. The classic way of describing this in sort of the VC textbooks is, what's your unfair advantage, right? Do you have the one guy that nobody else has, right? Did you exit Yahoo with the Hadoop team to set up Cloudera, and you've actually got all the engineers that architected the code? Now you're going to go do the enterprise play and make lots of money based on that. And it's like, oh, nobody else has that group, right? Because you took them, right? You've got all the top guys, and so you basically just exit with that credibility. That's kind of an unfair advantage. When my previous company, Topics, which was an SEO play in the online news space, we leveraged 40,000 links on a PageRank 10 site to give that site a good start in its SEO life when I was getting traffic from Google. That's sort of an unfair advantage. And a lot of the other folks that came along in the local news space and put out companies that tried to compete there, they didn't have that. You type in Palo Alto News and I was there on number 2, and they weren't. They weren't on the page at all. And so I think you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? Are you building a big software system? I don't think things like patents, anything like that tend to be effective at repelling somebody that wants to come and kick sand in your face.